Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Cevian Capital. We're joined by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Chloe Mele, for more. Chloe, good morning. Let's start with Renk this morning. Their shares are up. What's going on?
Yeah, so both Renk and Hensoldt, which are two defense companies, got upgraded by Citi analysts to a neutral rating. So not quite a buy just yet, but an improvement. And therefore, the shares did go up this morning. Citi said that those two will really benefit from a rise in defense spending in Germany in particular. So Hensoldt has around 60% of its sales in Germany, and Renk has 25% sales exposure to the country. So they're quite well positioned there. And Citi analysts mentioned that although shares continue to be a little bit volatile and quite news flow driven, they no longer appear to be fundamentally overvalued. And this bit about defense shares being kind of news flow driven is quite interesting, because we have seen over the last few days defense stocks really go up or down constantly as news of talks between Trump and Putin and then Trump and Zelensky came out. Whenever the narrative turned to more of the likelihood of peace in Ukraine, they went down, and then vice versa. So we'll probably continue to see that as those talks kind of evolve. But while we wait for the outcome of all of this, Citi does think that Renk and Hensoldt are in good shape.
Okay, yeah, and Renk shares up 1.5% in Germany at the moment. We're going to go to Poland next, and the banking sector in focus there. PKO among the big fallers.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of weakness across all of those Polish banks. So PKO, as you mentioned, but also Santander Polska and Alior as well. And that is because of brand new taxes on banks that were announced by the Polish government. And that is to plug a massive fiscal deficit. So for a bit of context, Poland's deficit is the second widest in the EU after Romania. So the government definitely has that sense of urgency when it comes to plugging that fiscal hole. And the finance ministry proposed an increase in taxes for banks to 30% from next year, and that is way up from 19% currently. And obviously banks were down on the back of that today, but it's actually not the only sector that's been kind of singled out for potential tax rises. The ministry also plans to hike rates on alcoholic drinks, and that is to reduce the negative impacts of their overuse.
Okay, yeah, PKO shares down around 8% at the moment. Santander Polska down by 3.7%. Let's go to the Netherlands next. Akzo Nobel, shares up by the most in 4 months.
Yeah, Akzo Nobel, so a Dutch paintmaker, and this morning, the reason why the shares are up is because activist investor Cevian Capital acquired a 3% stake in the company, and that is the first time that this activist investor has a holding in the Netherlands. And this is coming as Akzo Nobel is undergoing a kind of massive strategy turnaround at the moment that is aimed at reducing costs, but then also boosting competitiveness in that kind of chemicals sector. It is cutting 2,200 jobs by the end of this year, and it has also closed several European sites to kind of boost that competitiveness. Akzo said that it looks forward to Cevian Capital's constructive involvement and support. So we'll see how that goes. And so definitely something to keep in mind after the latest result from Akzo Nobel last month, where it was quite disappointing. Really, it warned on the caution around tariffs, and the sales missed expectations. So we'll see how that strategy turnaround with Cevian Capital goes.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.